Welcome to part 4, creating a figure with multiple traces. So our last figure consisted of a single trace placed there by the add_scatter method, but it had a line plot of all of the data from Texas, including the actual along with the predicted values. So in this section, we're going to create two line plots, one for the actual and one for the prediction, and color them differently. So the very last date that we have for training, or that has actually occurred, is found in the summary table. So the summary table contains one row for each area, and it's of the very current date. So right now we have November 5th over here as our last date, and there's a column over here that contains that last date. So we're going to use this data frame. We're going to select the date column, and then we're just going to grab the very last row, or the very first value. So we'll have a single value here for the last date. The first prediction date we will create, and that'll just be one more the very next day. That just outputs them. So there they are, last date and prediction date. So what we'll do here is we're going to create two series now, one for the actual and one for the prediction. So up to the last date, and then from the first prediction date onwards. And then we'll just create our figure as normal. That is step 1. Step 2, we're going to add the trace. So now we're going to do the actual. We'll do it separately. And we'll get the deaths for Texas like that. Again, we'll use that same mode to plot both the line and the markers. And then here's something new. We're going to use this name parameter to label it as actual. And then we'll do the same thing for the prediction. And then we'll update the layout like we did before. So let's go ahead and call this, or run this code. So now we have the actual along with the prediction. Now the one thing I want to point out here, so these are two separate traces, and their labels get placed in a legend. So whenever you have multiple traces and you provide a name to each, you will get them showing up in the legend by default. So you don't have to say, hey, show the legend. They automatically show up in the legend as a default. Now you might be wondering why this color is different than this one and why they are colored as such. Well, the colors are chosen automatically. Plotly has a color sequence, so every trace that you add to your graph will be of a different color in the sequence. So the sequence, you can look in the documentation, is under these qualitative colors, and there's different sequences over here, and Plotly uses a sequence that's self-named called Plotly, and it has 10 different colors. So as you add each trace, the next trace will be of the next color in the sequence. Okay, so that's what it's using by default. You of course can choose the colors that you want, and the way to do this is you can actually look at these color sequences, and they are in the plotly.colors module. So from this module we can import, we're actually going to import this qualitative color map, or color sequence, I should say. So actually this is a module itself. So there are many, so yeah, here are the actual sequences over here. And they're the same exact ones that are right here. So you can get the T10, this is for Tableau, the 10 colors of Tableau, and that's actually what's used in the dashboard. So what we'll do here is we can just name these colors, or assign them to some variable name over here, and these will be a list of 10 strings, and the strings that you saw were the hexadecimal representation of those colors. And to change the colors, what we'll do here is we have to use this line parameter over here. And if you don't remember how to use it, remember you can just purposely cause an error. And you can see here, okay, so there's this line property. All right, we can set all of these things with the line property. One of them is color. So you have to do it with the dictionary since it's a nested property. So you say color, and we're going to set it equal to the first color of this new sequence, this qualitative, this Tableau 10. And then in the next one, you can set it equal to the next one. So this is just a list, and now you're purposely, or you're you're setting a specific color from a specific color sequence. It could be any color sequence, but I'm just choosing to use the Tableau one. And the reason I'm choosing this Tableau 10 is that's because Matplotlib uses the Tableau 10, and I'm just so our graphs from before will match our dashboard graphs here. So when I execute this, we'll see that they now have this bluish color for the first color, and then the orange for the next color, and then they're labeled appropriately. So that's how you plot multiple traces on a single figure.